20 years ago, on October 20th, 2000, one of the most heinous acts of terror took place here in Israel by a mob of seemingly normative Arab Muslims who call themselves Palestinians. This act of terror shocked Israeli society to the core. Many Israelis woke up to the lie that peace is possible with these people who call themselves Palestinians. But the left-wing mainstream media didn't then and still hasn't woken up today. Before I show you this critical information that I'm referring to, I just want to remind you that if you believe that the video work I do is valuable, you can easily support me by visiting pulseofisrael.com and clicking on the donate button. The Pulse of Israel is a small outlet trying to provide the truth from an authentic Jewish voice in Israel on the culture war that is taking place today across the West, including Israel as well. If you are not able to donate, no problem. Just subscribe, sign up for our newsletter on the pulseofisrael.com website in order to receive all of our videos, because not every video is uploaded to YouTube. Special daily videos are uploaded to the Pulse of Israel website. Okay, back to the evil of our enemies, the media and the left. On October 12, 2000, 2 Israeli IDF reserve soldiers took a wrong turn and ended up at a Palestinian Authority police roadblock outside of the Arab city of Ramallah. Now, the Palestinian Authority policemen took them to the central police station in the center of Ramallah instead of just telling IDF reserve soldiers to turn around. Then the Arab mob heard that 2 Israeli soldiers got lost and were being held at the police station. Not only did the Palestinian Authority police not protect the 2 apprehended Israelis, they allowed the mob to publicly lynch them. Now brace yourself. This video is not easy to watch.
2 Israeli reserve soldiers, on their way to their base to serve as drivers, accidentally arrived at a Palestinian roadblock, where they were apprehended and taken to the Ramallah Palestinian Police Headquarters. There they were brutally lynched by a bloodthirsty mob.
Their martyrdom is celebrated in horrific fashion. This Palestinian clutches the bloody heart he has ripped from the corpse of a dead compatriot as the crowd dances and cheers in approval.
That was actual footage of the attack from 20 years ago. We still see today the horror of regular normative citizens tearing apart the bodies of 2 Israelis and lifting up their heart and body parts as trophies. When this video footage was released, it caused a lot of Israelis to realize the problem there is no peace with the Palestinian Arabs is not because of their leadership, but because as a society they are filled with sick, evil, and hatred and don't want peace with us. They want to murder us and dismember us. Today, an Israeli publication interviewed the daughter of one of the Israelis brutally murdered in that horrifying Ramallah lynch. The journalist asked the daughter, quote, "Can you at least try to understand the Palestinian side of the story?" Now, I'm going to paraphrase the daughter's answer. She basically said, "No, definitely not. The way they acted was inhuman. I don't work at a safari, but I don't think animals even act like that." The journalist then shot back a follow-up question or comment. "Some people would call you racist for saying that." The daughter then clarified, "I didn't say all Arabs are like that. I believe there are some who want peace as well. I was referring to the despicable actions of those people who brutally murdered my father." Now, what does this tell us about the media? Once again, 20 years later, we still see the blindness of the leftist mainstream media. No sympathy for the daughter of a man brutally dismembered alive. No note of disgust regarding the mob of Palestinian Arabs who took part in that brutal lynch. Rather, pushing a narrative of defense for the poor Palestinians who dismembered living people and implying that the actual victim, the daughter, is the racist. This is what we are up against all across the West. Thankfully, today we have alternative media to get out the truth, like our media sources, so that people don't have to rely on the extremely biased, false narrative-based, leftist mainstream media. The best thing you could do is support any or all of us by watching our videos, reading our articles, subscribing to our channels, subscribing to our newsletters, and donating when you can, so that our voices of truth of what's going on can get out there so that more people will not be brainwashed by the leftist mainstream media.
Pulse of Israel, frontline videos from the Holy Land. Support our work by donating today.